Another place we've seen huge changes is communication and collaboration. Can you even imagine life without your smartphone in your pocket anymore? But with emails, texts, and instant messages, it's becoming difficult to keep up. Slack is a company trying to fix that. It provides real-time group chatting across devices and totally in sync. I spoke with its CEO, Stuart Butterfield, to hear more about its plan to revolutionize modern communication. Stuart, I hate my email. I get too many of them. It's probably the grimmest part of my day. How can you fix it for me?
We can take a stab towards fixing it. One of the big things to note is that Slack's for internal communication. So the extent to which a lot of your email is external, we can't really help with yet. On the other hand, for a lot of people, the bulk of their communication is internal, and that can be hundreds. In the extreme cases like yours, maybe 1,000 plus emails a day. And those ones we can almost completely eliminate.
All right, well, Slack is creating a new world. And I know for those who haven't used it yet, they're not as excited about it or don't really get it. But you've made technology, your technology, something people love, not hate.
Yeah, that's I mean, first of all, that's the entrepreneurial dream, right? Like you build something, and people like it enough that they're compelled to tell their friends, and some of their friends are, they like it enough to go on and tell other people, and that's the situation that we found ourselves in.
Well, wait a second. Yeah. I don't know any other technology I want to tell anybody about.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's the secret, and it rarely happens. But we have a Twitter account called Slack Love Tweets, where we just retweet people saying stuff like, "It's transformed my organization, and so I'm glad we got it at work. I love this thing," and using that as a lever to get into new companies and to get new teams transformed is a beautiful thing.
And it seems to be easier to search than my current iteration that I use.
Yeah, and that was one of the big things for me. So I remember when I switched to Gmail from Outlook, and I was at Yahoo, and we had, like many companies, a really tiny limit on the size of our Outlook mailboxes. And one thing I noticed about Gmail in that transition was if I knew that I could search for it, if I knew that I would be able to find it again if I needed to, then I didn't have to spend a lot of energy filing it. So you remember this decision about which folder do I want to put this in so I have a hope of finding it again? And that, the cognitive cost of processing those incoming messages was much higher than I think we realized, and suddenly that dropped through the floor. So that's what we're trying to do in the context of internal communication, is make it so you don't have to worry about filing it or organizing it. You get it all in one big stream, you bring everything together, and then make it searchable.
Right, now people are talking about this $2.8 billion unicorn, whatever. What I find fascinating is you didn't set out to start this thing, did you?
No, we started the company 6.5 years ago to build a web-based, massively multiplayer game that just, it was a neat idea, and it had a hardcore fan base, but it was never going to become the kind of business that would justify what at the time was $17.5 million venture capital investment. We had developed a system for internal communication while we were working on the game that became the proto Slack. But we did it in this, and this was kind of an unfair advantage, in a totally non-self-conscious way. We weren't trying to design the system. It was just whenever a problem became so hard that we couldn't deal with it anymore, we did the minimum amount of work to fix it. And over the course of several years, we had done enough tiny fixes that we realized, hey, this is actually really good. We would never work without a system like this again. Other people might like it.
But it's viral. I mean, I'm not seeing big advertisements on NFL this Sunday about why I should be using this.
No, we want to be able to find efficient ways to advertise. We're starting to do some small experiments, podcast ads. We did a couple print ads in magazines. But no, it's been entirely viral. There's a couple cases. So one is, again, people like it enough that they will tweet about it. They will tell their friends.
Fantastic.
And the second one is someone leaves their job and they arrive at the new company and they say, oh my God.
Proselytizers.
Hey, yeah, we got to get switched over because we use this in my old company and we can't stand it. We also see that with acquisitions. Nordstrom bought a company called Outlook and then another one called Trunk Club.
Right.
And both of those were Slack using teams. Blue Bottle Coffee bought a company called Tonks. They were Slack using teams. And so it just gets into those organizations through acquisitions, through new hires, all kinds of means.
One last question. You're famous for saying that a giant crash could be a boon. I don't want to necessarily use a headline, but it sounds like you think that a lot of other companies are overvalued. You do have a lot of money. You could make a move, but there's nothing out there that represents any value at these prices?
You're talking to someone who is a shareholder in Lehman Brothers over that weekend.
Never mind.
So I'm not going to be super great at predicting that stuff. What I meant was the fact that we have a $250 million in cash that's effectively in a checking account means that we would be in a good position if this insane real estate market became cheaper, if it was easier to hire engineers, if advertising rates fell, if companies became cheaper to acquire. So I don't know that it's going to happen. I just mean if it happens, we'll be in a great position.
Right. Well, your failed business has become a godsend for many people. I'm jealous. I know the people who have it. I'm going to be the proselytizer. As soon as I can get someone to be able to say, you know what, we can really use this for an organization that I'm involved in, because it's very clear that it's a happy team medium.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
That's Stuart Butterfield. He's the CEO and founder of Slack, a technology that actually people like. Stay with Cramer. Booyah! Jim Cramer here from Mad Money. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube. Click here to subscribe and get the jump on my exclusives with CEOs, plus market news, investing advice, and a whole lot more.